And I'm with my colleague here, Mike. He's our Director of Communications, and he's helping with the tech side of things for me. He'll be monitoring the chat. So if you have a question, you're welcome to just put your hand up, speak out, or you can use the chat, whatever you're most comfortable with. We'll also ask. I will also ask that if you have a question and I don't know the answer to it, if you put your contact info in the chat, and we'll be sure to follow. We'll find out and follow up with you. So you'll have that answer. So, all right, I'm going to get started here with the land acknowledgement. So we begin this gathering by acknowledging that we are meeting on the unceded and traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people who have lived in this region for thousands of years. The Mi'kmaq people have a relationship with this land that is deeply rooted in their culture, spirituality, and history. We honor and respect the contributions, knowledge, and resilience of the Mi'kmaq and all Indigenous, Inuit, and Métis people. As we come together tonight to discuss grief, bereavement, and emotional wellness, we want to recognize the profound connection between healing and land, and the importance of cultural understanding and community support in navigating loss and sorrow. May our conversations today be mindful and compassionate, and may they contribute to a broader sense of healing for all. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. I wanted to just provide just a little bit of background information for those that may not be aware. This is our third round of offering this funding, which we're really excited about. The first phase that we did focus on Colchester, Cumberland, and East Hants counties, second provincial, and this current phase will be provincial as well. To date, we have supported 41 organizations with over $940,000. So as I said, we're really excited to do this again and to see the applications that will come in. And I hope that I can provide some more clarity or information tonight as we talk through this. I should have also said at the beginning, my apologies, we are recording this meeting, so we'll be able to post it. So for those that weren't able to be here. So just wanted you all to be aware that that is happening. Okay. So as I said, applications for this phase of funding do open on September 29th and will remain open until November 14th. And applications need to be for programs or supports that are supporting grief, bereavement, and emotional wellness programs for community. And the funds will be delivered by March 31st of 2026, and there will be a year to complete the projects. All right, so what is the purpose of the funding? So to provide direct financial support to the communities in Nova Scotia, initially, the funding was given for those impacted by the April 2020 mass casualty event and other situations across the province that have caused grief, loss, and stress in alignment with these objectives. So to enable and encourage the development of community-led initiatives that will really help to support Nova Scotians in grief. So that this is where it started. And still, if there's supports that can help those communities, they're still of course, very welcome to join. But this funding is for non-for-profits and community groups that would partner with nonprofits that want to implement grief, bereavement, and emotional wellness supports or programs. So, as I said, who can apply for funding? That's kind of what I just said there. So again, it would be like a nonprofit or a community. It could be a community group. It could be an individual. It could be a school, a workplace, but they have to partner with a non-for-profit in order to do that. And the nonprofit would take on the role of ensuring that the budget, that items stay within budget. They would be the signing partner, but the individual or group could do the delivery of the program. So it's a true partnership. And a partnership letter or agreement would need to be in place to support the project and the application. Okay, so what expenses are eligible? So applicants should consider the total cost of implementing a new project and identify which expenses may be eligible based on project material and supplies, necessary for project implementation. So that could include construction material, art supplies, technology tools, personnel costs, so associated with project executions. So it could be salaries for project coordinators or consultants, contractors directly involved in the project, marketing and outreach. So this would to promote the project and engage the community. So it could be printing flyers, social media advertising, website development, regular, I don't know what regular is, but other types of advertising. Event expenses. So if the project involves organizing events for the community, such as a venue rental, catering, transportation, training and capacity building would also be eligible. So that could be training workshops, sessions or capacity building activities that may enhance skills or knowledge of project staff and leadership, maybe volunteers or community members. Travel and accommodation costs related to project implementation. So if the project involves bringing in external speakers or participants, that would be eligible. And then general administrative and operating costs. So up to 10% of the project value may be allocated to administration. So just something, and that could include office supplies, telecommunication, etc. So ineligible. So partial project funding. So it's meant to support the whole of the project. Project or initiatives already underway. So this funding right now is for new projects or new initiatives. Budget deficits would be ineligible, capital loans, costs covered by other government funding, entertainment fees, alcohol, sponsorship contests, gifts and souvenirs wouldn't be covered. Interest expenses incurred on operating loans, legal challenges or costs or settlements, mortgage financing unless specifically related to the project, loan financing, professional organization fees paid on behalf of staff for membership or professional organizations. So that's kind of an overview of all of that. But we do, throughout all of this, if anything is unclear when you start to apply, please reach out and we'll answer your question. We want to make sure that we want this to be as easy as it can be for you, but we're here to help you through this process. So if anything's a bit fuzzy even after we talk tonight, just reach out and I'm happy to find the answer for you. Okay, so funding and project length. So the level of funding really varies from project to project, and it's based on the nature of the proposed activities. So the maximum that can be requested is $50,000. The smallest we've had was just over $600. So it can be any range from in between, any range within that. And project expenses must be fully used by March 31st, 2027. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers that section. And then this just gives you a little bit of the schedule just for your background knowledge. So as I said, applications do open on September 29th and they close on November 14th. And then the review period starts within November and December, and that's staff review. So what that means is staff will make sure that all the pieces are in place, that all of the applicants meet all the criteria, that all the paperwork is in that it needs to be. And then we have a community funding subcommittee. So they're community members. Most of them sit on our board of directors from various areas of the province, and they make the decision on who receives the funding or not. So staff we get it all ready for them, and then they review and thoroughly review, I should say, and decide who, it's a hard job, who will be successful and who will not be. So that will happen in January to February, and then decisions will be made in March, and letters of agreement will be sent out, and we will notify everyone one way or another. So if your organization was not successful, you will know. And sometimes we do give feedback as well, or not sometimes, we can give feedback as well to help you with future applications, whether it's to us or maybe even another organization. And then funds will be distributed by the end of March next year. And as I said, there will be a year to complete the project. Okay. Right. So how to apply? So applications on September 29th, if you go to our website, you will be able to submit online through our online portal. Or if you prefer to print a PDF, there's a fillable PDF you can do online, or you can print it and fill it out and send it back to us. So we want to make it as easy for any person. And if they have a preference, we do accept it in all of those ways. So all of that will be on the website on the 29th for you to access. Okay, this slide's quite important. So I really want to take our time as we kind of work through this. So this is what is used during the application review and the evaluation criteria. So the first part is the evaluation criteria. So all projects must respond to identified community need, and priority will be given to projects that provide community level support related to grief and loss and emotional wellness. So the grief, loss, bereavement, emotional wellness has to be part of it. It does not have to be, this was a question from last time, I'll mention now, it does not have to be hospice or palliative care related. It can be, it doesn't have to be. So that was a question because we are Nova Scotia Hospice Palliative Care Association. This can be any grief, any bereavement, any emotional wellness. So as I said, could be hospice palliative care related, doesn't have to be. Enduring impact. So projects must demonstrate the potential for long-term benefits, so beyond the initial funding. So thinking long-term, this is only one-year funding. We know, we've heard, from community that, sustainable funding is a challenge. So we do know that, but at this time, this funding is 1 year. So when you're writing your applications, think long-term. What kind of impact will it have on the community? And make sure that's written in your applications. Public benefit. So all proposals should offer services that are accessible, affordable, and inclusive to the general public. Uniqueness and innovation. So we're looking for creative and original approaches to meeting community need. And we see so many really interesting ideas. It's really quite a really interesting process to go through to see all the ideas that community have, and I'm excited to do it again and to see what everyone is thinking. And then application requirements. So to be considered for the community funding, applicants must submit a complete formal application. So that means a completed and signed application form. So that's the form I mentioned that will be on the website. So it needs to be fully filled out and put as much detail as you can in it. Some applicants in the past that I spoke to, they said, well, we didn't want to overwhelm the application. And I say it's better to put more in than not, especially when it comes to the budget. Put in examples, put the details in there. And I say that I think here in a bit too, detailed budget, it's the next one. But like put in examples so it's very clear that the applicant has thought about, I'm applying for $10,000 and 4,000 is going to this. What does that mean? Under that 4,000, it means I'm going to do this and this and this. So put the details in. The subcommittee during the review really look at that. They look at all of this in great detail. So that will be very, very useful. So the completed budget, we talked about that, using specific examples. Financial statements. So submit approved annual financial statements from the past years. We do request that, and it must include revenue, expenses, assets, and liabilities. If an organization is newer and doesn't have this yet, reach out to us and talk to us, and we'll try to find other ways that you can submit this. But we really want to make sure that applicants will be able to utilize the funds that they receive as they are planning to. And by sharing this, it's showing that that they that they have experience in doing that. So again, reach out if there's any question around this, and we can chat about that. And then additional documents, if applicable, depending on the project. So capital projects. So include at least 2 quotes for situations such as if there was construction or infrastructure work. And 2 quotes is required just to show that kind of you did your homework and you're making sure you're getting the best rate that you can for what you're proposing. And if only 1 quote is submitted, please provide written explanation as to why. Why could you only get 1 quote? And the committee will consider that. And then for purchases over $5,000, project planning to buy goods or services, they must provide 2 quotes as well. So if 1 quote, as I said, again, if 1 quote is not, if you can only get 1 quote, then just provide some information on that. Any questions about that part? I can pause there. It's a lot of information coming your way. All right. We'll keep going then. All right, and then the post-grant reporting and evaluation. So as I said earlier, the final, there will be, so funds need to be fully utilized by March 31st, 2027. And we will require a report to be sent to us by that date as well. And the template for that report, we'll share it early on in the project so that you're aware of what we're asking. I don't want there to be surprises, February of 2027 being like, oh my goodness, I didn't know we had to track that information and scrambling at trying to get it done. I've been on the other side of this in my previous roles of being the applicant, so I remember that feeling. So we want it to be super transparent and clear, and you're welcome to ask questions throughout at that point. But the report does ask questions specifically around project outcomes, indicators, the data collection plan, and then the actual results of the project. And any unspent funds over $50 must be returned to us. That is in the agreement. And then future funding eligibility is contingent upon report completion. So it is, we do ask that it does get sent in. Celeste?
Hi, Beth. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. The question I have is about the length of the project, the 1 year. I've been working with community-based organizations for 40 years. And I find when you're wanting to implement a new creative, innovative idea, working with volunteers, I find often 1 year just doesn't cut it, especially if you're trying to implement a new program by engaging the community and then you get into rural Nova Scotia, winter weather. So is there any flexibility on that, or is that like a hard date in terms of like, can you ask for an extension if you run into, like I'm envisioning you learn in April that you've been funded. A lot of volunteer organizations kind of essentially stand down in the summer. You resume in September and then you're into winter and you end up losing January, February for programming purposes. And here March has arrived. Anyway, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are around that.
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Celeste. And yeah, we do say that it's meant to be fully utilized, but we have offered extensions in the past when requested. So we would look at the situation and we would make a plan according to that. So I don't want to say that all that, we can let it go on for years and years, but in previous phases, yes, we have given extensions. Okay, that was my last slide. So I'm going to stop sharing so we can see each other nicely. And thank you for listening to all that. That's a lot of information. Our guidelines document is on our website. So that goes into everything in more detail. But I'll open the floor. Are there questions from anyone?
Beth, I do have a question. A current program that we're running, if we wanted to extend the program but alter it in a way, does that become a new or does it still fall under an old program? I'm talking about Dying to Know.
So yes, yes. So let me explain. So it does need to be a new program at this time. However, you can be creative. And if it's trying to, if it's changed in a way, like maybe it's trying to work with a different population of people or a different community or has a different lens in some way, that could still qualify. So just make it really clear in the application how it's different or how the goals are different within that. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I'm thinking like changing the time of day would target a different audience. So I don't know if that is enough to be different or changing the length of the day. The idea remains the same. It's just changing it up so that those who work can attend.
Mhm. I'm not sure. I think it would have to go to the committee for them to
Okay.
see. Yeah, I can talk to a couple of the committee members and see what they think, Catherine,
Hmm.
and get back to you on that.
Okay. Otherwise, I'll change gears and think of something
Well, that's
else.
it. I don't want you to put a lot of effort into your application and then it's probably not going to go through because it is a
Right.
piece. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
get back
Okay.
on that.
Thanks, Beth.
Mhm.
Hi, my name is Kim Kent, and I'm with Posse Peer Outreach Support Services and Education. We work with primarily marginalized populations, um, including people who are experiencing homelessness and are often impacted by the toxic drug crisis and overdose deaths. And I'm wondering, for us, when we often hold trainings or learning opportunities or workshops or groups, we provide people who are living on the margins with an honoraria to attend. Would that be considered an eligible expense?
Honorarium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm. If it's directly related to the project, so it doesn't cover like general salary, but if
Yeah,
it's to do with the project, like contractor would be covered, would be considered a yes. Honorarium, yes.
yeah, and I'm speaking like honoraria for marginalized populations to be there, right?
Yeah.
And then like when you're hosting something like food supplies, all of those things would be covered as well. And in addition to staffing personnel, like somebody to come and facilitate the group.
Yes, it
Okay,
would directly for the purpose of the project, yes. And the
perfect.
catering, yes.
Thank
Rental,
you.
yep. Trying to think of other questions that we've had from last round. Oh, Celeste, yes, please.
Yeah, I have another question, Beth. This is related to language. The community I work with has a 20% Acadian population, and two questions. One is translation of materials and to bring in a translator if it's required for kind of translating for a group or a talk or something like that. Is that considered an eligible expense?
Yes. If it has to do with the project, if they're being brought in to support the project, yes.
Okay, and the second part of that question is sometimes if you want to offer the same program in English and French, it's double the expense because you have to kind of bring, you know what I mean? So could that be considered like, okay, say you wanted to do something, you want to offer it in English, but then you also wanted to offer it in French, so you had to do it twice? So you would just consider that like two times of if it's an event, kind of twice the event?
Like two events, or would it be happening at the same time? Just
No, it would be it would be having it at a different time. So would it be classified as like if you were going to do it, say you were hosting a talk, for example,
Mhm.
and one night it was in English and another night it was in French, but it's the same talk. It's just that it's a different group of people that are coming. It's a different speaker. So we just count that as two events, sort of thing, or two talks.
I think you can describe that in the description section, and then just
Okay.
make it clear in the budget.
Okay.
That then like you could say rental at X amount of dollars times 2 because
Okay.
it's yeah, catering times 2. Mhm.
Okay.
Catherine?
Hi, Beth, again.
Yeah.
If the not-for-profit is partnering with community organizations, is that cap 50,000 per organization or per not-for-profit?
It's per application.
Okay.
So a
So
nonprofit
we
could,
could partner with other, schools and companies and whatever, and so we could, if we could manage that, then the community can benefit from more funding than just the 50 max.
it has to be different projects probably.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it would have to definitely be different. But then in the past, we have had the same nonprofit apply for funding and receive 2 separate grants for separate
Yes.
projects. So that is possible. The committee looks at each individually and they don't say, well, we already gave to them, so we want. It's tricky sometimes because there is only so much money to give out, and they want to reach as many people and communities as possible. So but if there's more than one idea, you're welcome to apply for more than one grant.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Mhm. That organization also, in that application, they did put, if you can only fund one, this is our top choice. You don't have to do that, but you can. And then the committee, if it comes down to like, oh, like they're both so good, but which one, they'll take that into consideration. Anything you put in there, they'll take into consideration.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just thinking about advertising for this grantability to the different organizations that are around Windsor, West Hants area, and I offering, you could partner with a not-for-profit in order to do blah blah blah, but I didn't want to shoot one person in the foot by doing that if we were only stuck with this $50,000 cap.
Per
That
not.
makes sense. Yeah, right. Per not-for-profit. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, me again. I'm also wondering, is this funding also include Indigenous communities?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're encouraging, well, any community, but we would love to see more applicants from the Indigenous, African Nova Scotian communities and Acadian communities. We would love to see that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Other questions?
Yeah, I'm going to come back again. How important is partnerships? Like in some cases, it's like you must be partnered with, in order to receive funding. Is that necessary in this particular grant or?
Yeah, good question. So if you are not a nonprofit, then yes, you have to have a partnership with a nonprofit. If you're a nonprofit on your own, I think we do a lot of applicants would also submit letters of support from community members, from groups. It's not mandatory, but we do look at it. So it's a choice. You can just submit on your own. Absolutely. That's accepted. It's meeting the criteria. If you want to get some letters of support to accompany it, it might help. Does that answer your question? Okay. Celeste?
Yeah, this question is just about the amount of funding that you have to distribute it in this round. And the reason I ask that is quite often when organizations are applying for funding, it's a competitive process. I understand that. So sometimes boards need to kind of weigh whether or not they are going to proceed knowing that, that there's higher competition or what have you with a smaller amount of funds. So do you have a set amount of funds that you're actually going to be allocating in this round?
I do. And Mike asked me this morning and I didn't look at the number, so I don't have it at the top of my head, but it's I believe it's upwards of 900,000 that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's the most of all 3 rounds, right, Beth?
It is. I'm pretty confident that's the amount.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, thanks.
And it's pretty amazing to see what past applicants have done with the amount of money that they get sometimes. I mean, a lot that, 50,000, even 50,000 only goes so far. But the one that I always come back to is the one that was 600,000. They implemented, or not 600,000, goodness, $600. Let me reframe that. They started an open mic session in their local community center, and it helped people who were experiencing loneliness and isolation get out and have a purpose to come together. And the impact that had on the community was massive for $660. So I always come back to that and think about that as well. Because a little bit can go a long way sometimes. Then again, 50,000 doesn't go a long way sometimes. So like we see that as well. That is something that I should mention as well. So we, once the funding's delivered, we follow up with the organizations. We, as in the staff at Nova Scotia Hospice Palliative Care Association, and we'll check in and say, how's it going? Can we come visit and see what you're up to? And we try to do that midway through, because, or do you need help with anything? So it's not that we just send the money out and you hear from us in a year when your report's due. We want to know. We want to, if there's things that Mike can post on our social media with permission about how things are going or help you promote what you're doing, we want to help with that too. So this, we see it really being a partnership, not just here's some funds, thank you, please go do the great work.
And if I could just add to that, I think as we're learning as the program develops as well, and Beth's done a really good job of creating a lot of unique relationships throughout the province. And we want to tell that story, not just from Healing Pathways in Nova Scotia Hospice Palliative Care. We want to tell your story. And, one of the things that we are looking at is maybe even pulling together a video for the Atlantic Film Festival next year or the year after. And we think it's really important to share those stories. So, I think the bigger relationship we have with you and the more connection we have with you, it goes a long way for helping all communities heal when they hear your story. So that's just kind of from a communications lens.
Anyone else? Well, like I said, you're welcome to reach out. I'm going to put my email in the chat. You're welcome to reach out with further questions, or we can set up a time to have a phone chat. And yeah, we're here to help. We're here to support. And if you're talking to others that are applying that weren't able to be here, let them know that as well. And we're always looking at feedback on this as well. So if, something's tricky, we want to know. If you're having trouble with something, we want to know. So just feel free to reach out to us, and we're here to help. And we wish you the best of luck with your applications. We're excited to receive them and see your wonderful ideas. And yeah, I don't see any other hands going up. I don't want to interfere with thinking, but if we're all done, then we can call it a night.
Hi, Beth. Sorry, I'm speaking out like last minute. My name is, yeah. So my name is Agnes, and I'm referred to this Zoom meeting by Helen Chan. She is the one of the, she's a chaplain at VG. And then we belong to the Chinese community here in Halifax. And I belong to a church. And then we've been doing some community work with, seniors who are in palliative care, or we're doing a variety of work. So she told me about this grant, and I'm just thinking, we haven't applied for this type of things before. and I wonder how we can get started, like, to, yeah. I'm just wondering how we can get started if we were to actually think of doing it.
Mhm. I think first step is to think of what you want to do and who you
Mhm.
want to do it with is important.
Right. Mhm.
In the application, there's a section that asks who will this help? So is it
Right.
general community? Is it the Chinese community, like you mentioned? Is it
Mhm.
Indigenous community? Is it seniors? Is it children? That part's really important. So really think about who, but then the what. Like, what is it? Is it a support group? Is it a workshop? Is it an education session? Is it it could be anything.
Mhm.
Past projects have been anything from building a playground and memorial benches to remember those that are lost. There was the Portapique Community Center did a walking trail with they had a book written by Holly Carr about grief, and there's
Mhm.
pictures of the book throughout the walking trail to reflect on grief and loss.
Mhm.
There's been school support groups for children on grief within
Mhm.
some teachers did. Uh,
Mhm.
there is a fire chief that's doing training on grief to take back to the fire station to teach other first responders more knowledge, more information and knowledge about grief. So it
Mhm.
could be anything that you think
Mm.
could help with grief, bereavement, or emotional wellness. And emotional wellness is huge.
Huge, yeah, yeah. So we can probably, for example, suggest we can have some workshops, talking to the seniors, or maybe those are in, or visitation to people who are in, like, who are dying or have serious health issues. So we can have all sorts of things, just like you said, anything um, from like grief to emotional wellness, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about the pieces of it because we have had applications in the past that they have a lot of really great ideas, but
Mm-hmm.
reading it, it's like, can they really do all of this within a year?
Mm.
So really think about what's achievable
Mhm.
and focus. And I'm not saying you can't apply for more than one idea. Some people do it and
Yeah.
not people organizations do it and are able to do it, but you have to show how and you have to show with the budget how. That's really important.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that it's well thought out. I'm going to do workshops and I'm going to do 4 workshops and it's going to cost this much per workshop because the venues, the food is this, the speaker is this. So
I
thinking
see.
about little pieces.
I see. Okay. Okay. That's helpful. Yeah. Okay. And you just mentioned earlier that this session is recorded, right? So Helen isn't able to come today because she had another meeting commitment. So how can she watch this, like, later on when she has time?
Mike, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll be uploading it to our I like to just hide in the background. I'll be uploading it to our YouTube page. So if you just go to YouTube and type in NSHPCA or
Okay.
Nova Scotia Hospice, and of course if you join our newsletter, go onto our Facebook page, follow our page. We usually provide a lot of updates on there as well.
Okay, okay. So I can tell Helen about it and she can, because it will be very likely that we're going to work together to see if there's something that we can, like, put down as a proposal and send. Yeah.
And if you have trouble
Hmm.
finding that, Mike and my
Hmm.
emails are there in the chat. You can reach out to us and we'll make sure we get you the link.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to stay on for a bit longer if anyone has any further question. I will leave the Zoom meeting going a bit. If you'd like to sign off, you're very welcome to and go enjoy your evening. It's not dark yet, like at the beginning, so we're get out for a couple more minutes. But thank you all for your interest and like I said, I wish you the best of luck with your applications. I'm excited to get to receive them in November. By November.